If I could go back in time and give myself one piece of advice, just one out of everything I've learned, it would be this. Invest earlier in coaching, consulting, courses, and books because I've been a barbershop owner since 2015. And I've lost count now of how many times I've almost gone out of business, where the bank account hit negative. And I think I maybe I would have still gone through all of that stuff, but I think that I could have avoided probably 50% or more of the pain if I would have just understood this simple topic that I'm going to cover in this video. So this is a part of my series of videos where I talk about, the laws of barbering. And today I want to talk to you about this simple concept, which I think it took me 5 years. I didn't really start investing in education until it was almost too late, right? So I want to pass this lesson on to you guys, which is that, education always has a cost. Like, you're going to pay with either time or money. The only way to move faster, though, is to invest in education, right? Because you have to educate yourself in order to grow your business. Okay. So the question is, where are you going to get the education from? Are you going to learn it yourself through trial and error, or are you going to get it from somewhere else? So when it comes to education, right, you're either going to pay with time or you're going to pay with money. But either way, you're going to learn the lesson, or you're going to go out of business, right? So the way that you avoid these hard lessons, the potentially going out of business, is to find somebody who has been there before, in the exact same scenario as you, and pay them so that you don't have to learn the lesson the hard way, right? Because either way, you're going to learn the lesson, right? But the thing is, the way I look at it is, you can either pay with time or money, but you can always make more money. So when you want to grow your business, right, there's so many skills that you have to learn in order to get your business to just mildly successful, right? So the question is, how are you going to learn those skills? You're either going to do it through figuring it out yourself, trial and error, or you're going to have somebody help you. You're going to have somebody coach you through the process. And like I mentioned earlier, like, I have made pretty much every mistake in the book, right? I learned the hard way. The first 5 years in business for me were just kind of fumbling around in the dark, no idea what I was doing, right? I was doing what everybody else does, just copying the guys down the street, going off of what I see on social media. And I thought that, as long as the bills were paid, my business was successful. And it turned out that that's not the case, right? It turns out that if you want to try to actually grow your business beyond just a single location and get to $1 million or more in revenue per year, you're going to have to learn a lot more skills, because what it takes to get from 0 to 1 location, 1 barbershop, is not necessarily the same kind of skills as it takes to get from 1 to 2 and beyond. Right. So when I went from 1 location, which was doing okay, to 2, I was way out of my league. Right. It doesn't sound like a big leap, but I think this is one of the hardest jumps in business that a barbershop owner can ever make, is going from 1 to 2, because it really tests your skills as a leader. It really puts your business to the test to see if you can even handle that sort of risk and that additional pressure on the business, because now you have to pay 2 rents. You have to have 2 teams to manage, right? And you can't, even with just 2, you can't be in 2 places at once, right? So it was around the time. So for me, opening the second location was actually the catalyst where I realized I am way out of my league here. We are going to go out of business for sure unless I do something here, right? And so we were losing like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars per month, right? After we opened our second location, and the bank account was draining, and it was getting pretty much close to zero, right? So, and it was actually at that point that I decided to spend thousands of dollars, like literally thousands of dollars, and pay a coach to help me turn the business around. And guess what? It worked, Like, I'm still here. I'm making I'm making this video for you guys to hopefully pass on the lesson that I don't want it to go that far for you. I don't want you guys to risk going out of business because you think that you can't afford coaching or that you don't need it, right? Because the way I see it is that the education is the best investment, right? It's the one thing that nobody can take away from you. And it's what is a better, return on investment than learning something that is going to help grow your business? Think about the best athletes in the world. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I don't know, I'm not a sports person, right? They all have coaches, all of them, right? Think about even the best business people in the world. You don't think that the best business people that you hear about on the news regularly don't have coaches and consultants that they work with regularly? The smartest, the best people in the world all have coaches. They all have help because you have to be smart enough to know that you don't have all the answers, right? And you can maybe figure it out on your own, but my question is, why would you want to? If there is somebody out there that has already solved the problem that you're dealing with right now, just pay them. Just pay them the money. They can help you solve the problem, and then you move on to the next one, right? And I can tell you that I don't think it's any coincidence that it wasn't until I started investing in coaching and consultants and courses that my business started to skyrocket immediately after that. Because every business, I think, is going to be limited by the owner. And what limits the owner is going to be the skill that the owner has. So the only way you can grow your business is to grow yourself as the barbershop owner and to grow your team, because you can also invest in coaches and consultants for your team to grow, right? So your business can't grow unless you and your team are growing. And the best way to do that is to find somebody who already has the answers and pay them to come show you the right way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to figure it out yourself. And I think that, business is really a game of trying to solve enough problems before you run out of money in some cases, right? So you have a finite amount of money. And if you're losing money, right, like we were, then you have a timeline, right? You're going to run out of money at some point. So you have to try to learn the skills so that fast enough and implement them fast enough before you run out of money. Because once you run out of money, it's game over, right? Investing in coaches and consultants and courses is the only way, if you think about it, it's the only way that you can buy time. You can't buy more time, right? You have a finite amount of time on this planet, right? But you can always get more money, right? You can actually buy time in the sense that you're buying somebody else's time. So somebody else out there has solved every problem that you're dealing with right now. So they've already been through that, right? So if you want to learn those skills, you have two options. You can either spend your time and go through it yourself to learn those lessons, or you can spend money and buy their time, buy their solutions, buy their lessons, right? And you can, like I said, you can always make more money, but you're not going to get the time back, right? So I'm a huge believer now in spending money to save time. I value my time way more now than I do money, because it's for the reason that I shared earlier. I can't buy more time on this earth, right? I have a finite amount of time, but I can make more money. So I value the time more. I'd rather spend money and to save time than spend my time to try to save some money. It doesn't make sense. Why would I want to try to go and do this all myself when somebody out there has figured this out and all I got to do is pay them? They will show me, I will solve the problem, and then I move on to the next thing, right? So I think that this excuse of I can't afford this course or I can't afford coaching is a terrible excuse, because I started investing in coaching and consultants when I couldn't afford it. When I was losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars per month That's actually when I decided to start investing in coaches and consultants, because that's when I needed it the most. And it turned out to be a great decision because I'm still in business and we're actually doing really well now. But I couldn't have got to this point unless I had made that decision. And if I would have waited because I had used the excuse that I don't have the money, I don't have whatever, then I would have probably went out of business, right? So I don't think there's a greater investment that you can make than to invest in yourself, because that's really what you're doing when you buy courses, consultants, coaches, books, mentorships. You're investing in yourself, right? So I don't think there is a better way to spend money than to invest in yourself as a barbershop owner and as a barber, right? Somebody else has solved this problem before. All you got to do is get the answers. And there's a lot of free resources online on things that you can do. You got YouTube, you got ChatGPT now, but there's something to having somebody like just walk you through the problem step by step, right? And customizing it to exactly what you're going through. There's only one way to fast forward your business. There's only one way that you can literally buy time, and that's to invest in coaching, to invest in courses, to invest in books. Because otherwise, you're going to have to spend your own time through trial and error to learn those skills yourself. Or you can always spend money, which you can always make more of, and pay somebody who's solved the problem to teach you how to do it too. So it's the only way to fast forward your business is to get somebody. You can either hire them to work on your team or just hire them for consulting to teach you how to do this stuff, right? Every time when I look at my profit and loss statement as a graph, right? Every single time I learn a lesson, we make more money as a business. Every time my team gets a little bit better, they learn a new skill, we make more money, right? So if you want to grow your business and you want to make more money, the first thing you got to do is get the skill. Now you can either spend your time to get the skill, or you can just pay somebody to show you how to do it. This is something that I live by, right? Like I always have at least, I think right now I have 4 coaches for different subjects. I have somebody that teaches me how to do ads. I have somebody that's just general business coaching. I have another coach who is a barbershop owner who is way ahead of me, who's showing me how to get from where I am to where I want to be. And I'm going to continue to find just these subject matter experts now, because that's kind of where I think we are now in the business. Like general business knowledge, I think we're pretty good there. Right now we're starting to get into specific, like I need specific help with pricing. I need specific help with business operations. I need help with coaching leaders, right? So these are the things that it's hard to find one person too that can just show you everything. So once you get beyond, a certain point in the business, I think you really need to start looking into specific coaches for specific areas. Like just like the best athletes have they got their nutrition coach, and then they got maybe a personal trainer, and they got somebody who, if they're a basketball person, they got somebody that just helps them with their jump shot or their dribble or whatever, right? So this is, when you're in the beginning, I think you need somebody that's just a generalist just to help you get the basics going. And then as you get more advanced as a business owner, you need to have probably some coaches that help you with just specific areas of your business. Like, we're good over here, or I got another coach that helps me with that. I just need you to help me with this particular part of this business, right? It's kind of crazy to think that as a barbershop owner, that you can think that you can do it all yourself, right? Maybe you can, right? But it's going to be so much more stressful. It's going to take you so much longer. Or you could just hire somebody that's done it before to show you the way, right? Think about probably everybody that you can think of in history that is worth remembering had some sort of coach, teacher, mentor, consultant show them the way, right? This is the only way that you can truly speed up your growth as a person and as a barbershop owner, is to just buy somebody else's lessons. So again, if I could go back in time and forget everything else I've learned, just accept this one lesson, it would be start investing in coaches and consultants, courses, books earlier. I waited until I was 5 years in and almost bankrupt before I finally learn this lesson. There's somebody out there right now that has the ability to help you grow your business or even save your business if your business is in trouble, right? You just got to find them and make it worth their while, essentially, right? Because you're going to learn the lesson, right? Or you're going to fail before you're going to run out of time, right? You're going to run out of money. But you're either going to spend your time, trying to learn this lesson yourself, or you're going to spend your money, or you're going to run out of money and time, right? So either way, if you want to grow your business fast, if you want to get there the best way, right? Because you can also grow your business the wrong way. Just get somebody who's been there, done that. And there's so many examples, and I'll make a whole other video, I think, about how to choose your mentor, how to choose your coach. But I think you just want to look for who has what I want and got there the way that I want to get there. So there's a lot of barbers on Instagram and social media that sell coaching and consultants. And then you go to their booking link in their profile and, you can book the same day if you want. So you got to be careful and I think vet the people who are selling these coaches and courses and consulting and books, because anybody can make a course now on ChatGPT. I think you really want to think about, look at their resume, look at what you can find online. How is their barbershop doing, right? How are they doing? Are they fully booked? Because it's really hard now to find like a true mentor who has been there and done that. And a lot of them don't advertise, a lot of them don't put themselves out there because they're so busy running their business. You'd be surprised though how many times I've reached out to barbershop owners that were way ahead of me just to ask if they were willing to hop on a call, and they said yes, and they did it, right? And some of those have turned into great relationships. Some of them I ended up hiring as coaches. So I'm telling you guys that this is probably one of the hard parts, is like trying to filter like who is actually legit and who's not. But just look for what they've done, right? If that's the one thing, like just look for what they've built and get on the phone with them, hop on a call with them, basically interview them to see if they would be a good mentor for you, right? And this is something that I don't directly offer, mentorship, but I do have a group called the Barber Mastermind, right? Which is 100% free, and I do interact in here all the time, and I guess sort of mentor people. But this is just a place where I basically just share everything that I'm doing in my shop as I learn my lessons, right? And I do have courses and things in here, and maybe I'll do some kind of consulting in the future. But this isn't really like a play for me to make money. This is just my way of giving back. It's 100% free to join this group. And if you do want to try to pay to, speed up your learning, there's options to do that inside the community. But to be inside is 100% free. This is just my way of giving back to you guys. But the main point that I want you to get out of this video is that whether it's me or somebody else, like just find somebody who can help you solve the problems in your business. And if they ask you to pay money, just pay it, right? And just because, and you might get burned because there's a ton of people out there that just sell just bullshit, right? But it's okay, because all you need is it only has to work once. You only need one lesson from a course or a coaching call to change your business. A lot of barbershop owners have this kind of amateur mindset, which is, how much does it cost? But I find that the way I think now, and the way that I think a lot of people that are a little bit more advanced in business think, is, what is the return on investment? So what does it matter if this guy is charging me $4,000 for one call, if I learn something on that call that is going to make me $100,000 or $1 million? Was $4,000 expensive if that was the case? No, that's a great return on investment. So you guys got to think about it. And this is why it's important to think about who are you getting on a call with and what have they done? Because if it doesn't really matter what they charge, because in my experience, in my opinion, most true experts save you or make you way more money than they cost. So you got to just get that question out of your head about what does it cost. What you need to think about is, what is my return on investment going to be? So what they charge $4,000 or even 10 grand, right? But if it makes me 100,000 or a million, I'll do that all day. And a lot of my stuff, I keep it really reasonably priced, by the way, because I want people that are just getting started or struggling financially to be able to afford it and use it and grow your business, because I want you guys to succeed. I want you to avoid the lessons. That's the whole point of my channel and why I do these videos. And because I don't make money from this. This is all just my way of giving back. And I just think it makes me feel good to help you guys out, because there's probably at least one person out there that watches this video that's going to go hire a coach, and they're going to fast forward their business, and they're going to thank me in a few years and be like, that's why I did it, right? But if you guys want to join my free community, it's 100% free, like I mentioned. We do have courses inside. Maybe I'll do coaching and stuff inside in the future. I do live Q&As though, where you guys can hop on a call with me for free. But otherwise, hopefully this helped you. Just for the love of God, just spend some money, hop on some calls, buy some courses, and implement the knowledge and grow your business, right? You don't have to do it on your own. Being a business owner is hard enough. Being a barbershop owner is hard enough, but it's even harder if you're trying to do it on your own. There's somebody out there who's been there exactly where you are and has solved the exact problems that you're dealing with right now. You just have to find them. And even if they're going to charge you for coaching, pay the person, because you can always make more money. You can't get more time back. So unless you want to risk going out of business because you want to do it yourself and save a little bit of money, just get a coach to help you solve these problems. I promise you, you won't regret it. All right, guys. See you in the next one.